What's up everybody, I'm Gushy. In today's video we're going to be going over how to find out what type of gamer you are using Bartle's taxonomy of player types. And so you may be asking yourself, why is this even important? So, have you ever finished a good game, already playing through it a couple of times, and then you're trying to find the next game that you want to play? So you choose that next game on your list, watch a couple of reviews, the review says that it has similar mechanics to the game you just played. You finally play it for a couple hours, and then it's nothing like you expected. There's just something about the game that really didn't pique your interest. And this is where Bartle's player types come in handy. From person to person, we all have our preference on which aspect of the game that we like the most. So with the Bartle test, we can find out what we cherish most when playing a game, and then compare it to the game that we want to play, and then find out what percentage of the game fulfills those needs and how the game executes on them. I've included a link in the description below of a Bartle test that you can try out. All you have to do is answer a couple of questions, and then it'll tell you what percentage of each player type you are. Before we talk about the 4 player types, I want to explain how the Bartle test was made to give you guys a little bit more of an understanding on how the 4 player types was formed. In 1978, this guy, Richard Bartle, created the first MUD, or multi-user dungeon, and then did some research to find out why the hell people even played it. For those of you who don't know what a MUD is, it's okay, I didn't know either. So learn more about it, and it's like the OG MMORPGs. It looks something like the gameplay in the background, where you go through a dungeon and you get to talk to other people to either work together to take down monsters or even kill each other for their loot. So what Bartle did was took the most advanced players of this game and asked a simple question: what do you want out of this game? And from all the people that he asked, he got various answers. But there were 4 answers that came up regularly. Gamers liked exploring the game, socializing with others, gathering achievements within the game, and killing other players. And these became the baseline for the 4 player types: explorers, socializers, achievers, and killers. Bartle also made this graph, which basically says that killers liked acting upon other players, achievers liked acting upon the world, socializers liked interacting with other players, and explorers liked interacting with the world. This is something that I actually disagree with. Games have evolved tremendously from 1978, and it's possible that a certain player type can reach beyond these 4 limitations. For example, nowadays, achievers can interact with other players. In Destiny, being the first fire team in the world to complete a raid is the ultimate achievement and requires teamwork with other players to complete that goal. And another example is actually from a game that I saw from Gamescom, which has socializers acting upon the world. This game is called Gone Viral, and socializers that are watching through Twitch can actually vote on in-game events, which then affects the live gameplay. And so you could say this graph is a little outdated, but I do believe that these 4 categories do represent all the different player types pretty well. And so I'm going to go over each one and give you guys a couple of examples of games that represent these gamer types, and then also show how they can be represented within the PvE and PvP environment. So first up are the achievers. Achievers care about showing off their status. They usually want some kind of public record to prove to others that they've completed a super rare challenge, or just shows off how much work they put into their character. A lot of looter shooters really cater to these types of players, finding those legendary and exotic gear that usually drop from really challenging activities like the in-game raids. Every time a new DLC comes out and a new raid is announced, there's always multiple fire teams ready to be the world's first to complete that dungeon. And it always comes with really unique rewards, along with the in-game loot like raid specific weapons and emblems. Fire teams also got a physical trophy and a championship belt. Another example of a looter shooter that does this pretty well is Borderlands. Achievers don't mind grinding out the same boss for hours to eventually get that God Roll on a weapon, which then they can incorporate into their build, which then could be used to melt bosses super quick. Another example of achievers are those of you who play COD and love to show off your unique calling cards, which maybe require a certain amount of kills or wins to get, or those of you who are obsessed with getting to max prestige just so you could show off that emblem, or even if you just love a gun so much that you'd go for that obsidian camel, pouring so many hours into the game. And this spans throughout any platform. Whether you play on console or PC, all games these days have an achievement system, which contains mini challenges, and with the ultimate word of 100%ing a game. The next player type we'll go over are the Explorers. Explorers really love discovering secrets within the world, and this can apply to the environment or the mechanics within the game. These types of gamers really enjoy finding out new things about the game and sharing that with others. If you're one of those gamers that really love finding those Easter eggs within a game, or searching for all the records just to learn more about the lore of the game, you're most likely an explorer. Other games like Overwatch also can have some explorer aspects to it. With some of the heroes being hard to master with high ceiling caps, someone's always finding these new techs that you could use. Wrecking Ball has these really unique mechanics where you can double boop or do a curved fireball. Heroes like Genji has a sequence of combos that maximizes his DPS, fully utilizing the animation cancels and the multiple abilities that he has. Any game that you can make specific builds also fall into this category. For example, Ghost of Tsushima. Explorers love mixing and matching different mods to maximize their melee damage or stagger, or even just fully understanding how the stealth mechanics work. Borderlands is another game where you can make all these unique builds, combining different classes, weapons, and abilities to rack up those multipliers and damage. Next up are the Socializers. Socializers experience fun in their games through interactions, and this could be with other players or immersing themselves with characters within the game. A perfect example of this is Animal Crossing. Your relationship with the villagers that join your island and the multitude of interactions that can happen between them is a really good example of Socializers interacting with the world and the NPCs within it. Animal Crossing also has the feature to visit friends and other people's islands, to trade recipes, do events together, or to simply just hang out. Another example of Socializers are people who love to play Warzone. And not for the gunplay, but more to hang out with their friends and play with the squad. Unlike COD's multiplayer, Warzone forces you to work together with your teammates. You need them for revives, to share gear and money, or even just to coordinate some attacks. For Socializers, playing with their friends or even making new friends is the reason why they play games. One genre that really targets Socializers are mobile games and the types of games that are on Facebook. A lot of them incentivize you to join clans, to reap benefits like multipliers for resource drops, or to coordinate attacks to clear out dungeons. Socializers have also evolved over the years, with different platforms like Twitch, YouTube, Discord, even Reddit. Socializers can interact with the community without even playing the game. And finally, the last player type are the Killers. Killers are all about the competition. The reason why they play the game is to show their dominance and to show their status by winning. A lot of the FPS games these days focus around competition. Games like Call of Duty, Overwatch, Counter-Strike, Valorant are all examples of games that killers might like. For those of you who love running lobbies, dropping nukes every game, making people rage quit, you're probably a killer. If we go into the PvE aspect, killers usually like exploiting mechanics within the game to become crazy OP. Actions like crafting items that give you infinite health or damage, or cheesing a boss to kill him super quick, also is an aspect of killers. With that, this sums up my explanation of Bartle's player types. Of course, there's many other ways that you could split up players into different player types, but this is the way that I found that was nice and simple and generalizes the major types into 4 simple categories. I really hope this video helped you guys learn something about yourselves as gamers, and the more that we learn about ourselves, the easier it is to find games that we like and some we could recommend to our friends. With that, let me know in the comment section down below what % of each player type you are, and if you guys enjoy these types of videos about gamifying your life. Also let me know so I can make more of these videos. With that, thanks for watching. Hope to catch you in the next one, and GG.